Here it is, my electric bike company Model R that I customized. Let me take you through all the features and show you why I love it and a couple things I don't like. Recently, I posted a video taking you through how I specifically customized the electric bike company Model R for my specific needs. Now, you can buy these stock without any customization, but I wanted to go through and pick some special things. So what I want to do is take you through the results. I mean, look at this. This is a beautiful bike. Show you the features and then point out the three things that I wish were different at the end of the video. So there's so many good things about this. I had to have a cheat sheet so I don't forget anything. Now, the first thing to point out is the electric bike company has been around since 2014, and they've got a huge number of outlets where you can purchase their bike all across the United States. In fact, there's even one here in Wilmington, North Carolina that, quite frankly, I didn't know about until I was getting ready to do this video. I would have got it there. So anyway, the retail price, not customized, is $19.49. Now, you may think that that's a lot, but let me go through some of these features. And I paid a little more because I went for the upgraded technology package, which adds a few things for safety. So the first thing is, with any e-bike, is you want to talk about power. Well, I got the torque sensor instead of the cadence sensor, and that was an upgrade. And the reason I bought the torque sensor is they provide a more natural riding experience. A cadence sensor, when you bump up the power assist, just dumps that power in and then you deal with it as you pedal. With a torque sensor, it adds the power, but it doesn't implement it until you start pedaling and have some resistance. And you'll see the benefit of this when we get to the road test part of this particular video. Now, that torque sensor pairs with a electric bike company custom designed motor that is the standard 750 watts. That's a legal thing, but it will max out at 1250 watts when needed. So that's a lot of power combined with that torque sensor, and that's going to get me up a lot of hills. I hope to use this as my beach bike, and that'll be huge to getting through that mushy sand where you sink in, where you just need the power to move on through it. Now, range is, of course, always an issue when you talk to electric bikes, and here is the display that shows the different ranges at the throttle that you can get from the electric company website. But the bottom line is that if you pedal some and power some, that you can get 60 miles of range out of the 12 amp hour battery that comes with this. But there's more. You can get upgraded batteries. I mean, they let you customize everything. So you can get an upgraded battery that would increase your range. You can even get an additional battery that would go underneath a basket on the front that basically doubles your range. You can get, I think their website said, what, 145 miles? I'll check that and I'll put a comment here if that's not accurate. But since I'm only riding on the beach, basically, 60 miles is plenty for me. Now, in terms of the standard stuff you would expect, it's got the standard 7-gear Shimano system, but it pairs that with a 52-tooth chain ring down here. And what that means is for every turn of your pedal, you're actually moving farther, and that's great for efficient movement across level ground. It may, slow you down a little bit going uphill, make that a little bit more difficult, but I like the fact that I can really get some more leverage and have reduced wear, because now the wear is spread across 58 teeth instead of 34 or 42 or 46 as you see on some other e-bikes. Okay, power, well, with the gears, the power, you can actually get up to 28 miles an hour. It's going to come set at 20 because that's the usual legal limit, but if you need to, you can call them and they'll show you how to unlock it to get the full 28 miles an hour. Now, let's get into some of the unique features of this. Have you ever heard of bright lights and dim lights on a bike? Well, this thing's got them. Let me show you. The headlight has high and low beam, and turn signal for the front. You can see the turn signal is attached to this part of the frame in the rear. Well, when you look at the rack and then you move back, the turn signal pretty much disappears. So I'm not sure that those are going to be very useful unless you've got someone who's approaching your bike from the side where you're going to be able to see that. So I just wish that they'd put them right here on the end. But while we're talking about safety, they've got this huge brake light right here that is very bright, and of course it kicks on the turn signal lights too, and I think that's going to be great. You know, it's so easy to get whacked when you're out riding a bike, and actually that's one of the reasons I chose this bright yellow color. I think that's going to be hugely visible. Of course, they've got the standard reflectors all over the place that you would expect. Any discussion of safety while we're talking about brakes has to include, well, how do they work? This has a 180 millimeter disc rotor, and the upgraded package that I bought includes hydraulic Tektro Dorado brakes with 4 pistons. And as I demonstrated in the road test, they act instantly. So let's take a look at the rest of the controls up here. I bought the cruiser style handlebar. You can get other styles. I like to be able to sit back. Here's the throttle, turn signals, the control for up and down power assist and turning on. The display is beautiful, and I can actually read this with polarized glasses on. It shows the percent remaining in the battery, and then the dots across the top are what level of pedal assist you're in. Then it shows other typical information below. Over here I can move the headlights to bright and dim. I forgot to tell you, over here, here's where you do the turn signals and the gear shifter, and these are nice comfortable grips, and of course the brake handle is right there. Another thing to mention is with these cruiser handlebars, you have kind of a straight run across here, and that'll make it easy to put on an extension out to the front to be able to carry a bag or whatever. Nice feature. Of course, it has the adjustable front suspension, and what I really like is I can rotate the stem up to 60 degrees. So that means if you're shorter, you can actually move this closer to you. I like it right here set at 0. That's just perfect for me. Whoop, one thing I forgot to mention on the handlebar setup, it does come with an electronic bell. I can't believe that there are other manufacturers that ship their bikes without that basic item of safety. Now, let's talk about comfort. This is unusual in that it has a wide range of heights that it will fit. It's designed for anyone who's 5'2" all the way up to 6'10". And the standover height right here is a low 19 inches. So even if you're an old guy like me, or you're getting on in an unstable situation like on the beach, it's easy to do this without falling over. And the bike seat is fantastic. This is a memory foam seat, and it's really large, so you're not gonna, let me show you. Check out the size of this seat. It is so comfortable to sit on that it's very easy to ride this for long distances. Some other great features of this bike that just come with it are the fact that it has heavy duty spokes. They true every rim in-house, and these are heavy duty puncture resistant 3-inch tires. I decided to get the 26-inch rims, but you have an option to get the 20-inch as well. Now here's just a little nit kind of thing. A lot of manufacturers give you a rear rack. Electric Bike Company actually gave you one with a clip already built in, so you could put stuff on here without having to use a bungee. And it uses the Nick clip system to where you can clip accessories on here and then they'll be held on. But now if you do have to use a bungee, look at this. They've got the attachment points right down there. You know, I've got other e-bikes that give you the rear rack, but they don't have anywhere for you to strap it down other than to do it up here. One of the options I got was the chain guard. because if my wife rides this bike, I want to make sure that everything associated with her stays away from the chain. Now this is a stainless steel chain, and it's got a special weather resistant coating on it built in, and for me, with mostly using this on the beach, that's going to be huge. Now speaking of the beach, one other thing is they advertise this as being fairly waterproof. Now I wouldn't clean it with a high pressure hose, but to be able to get off the sand and crud and things like that from a beach trip, that's going to be huge to make sure that I don't damage any of the electronics. And while we're talking about electronics, the battery is certified, so you don't have to worry about that blowing up someplace. It's got all those good safety characteristics built in. A real problem on a lot of e-bikes is that they weigh a ton, and you end up having to buy special racks to carry them, and even those racks top out at about 70 pounds per bike. So this bike only weighs 56 pounds. If you were to take the battery out, which I would recommend when you transport, you're probably going to save another 8 to 10 pounds right there. And even though this bike is lightweight, it will carry a rider who weighs up to 440 pounds, distributed between the seat and of course the rear rack. So let's get into the couple things that I think could have been done better on this bike. And it's basically only three things. First, when you turn it on, it defaults to pedal assist being off. Now it's easy to turn it on. You just depress the minus key for a couple seconds and then you have pedal assist. Well, who's going to use this bike? I mean, it is 56 pounds without pedal assist. So my recommendation back to the manufacturer is to change that setting so it's always on. The other thing is that there is no walk assist with this bike. To get that same feature, you basically just need to feather the throttle a little bit to allow it to move with you. And given that I will typically take this across the beach to get to the sand that I'm going to ride on, you know, that's kind of an issue with me. And then the final thing is that the throttle is keyed to the level of pedal assist. So if pedal assist 1, just say, is set at 10 miles an hour, then you're only going to get 10 miles an hour on the throttle. If pedal assist is set to, number 2 is set to 15, and these are factory settings, I don't know if it is 10 and 15, then the most you're going to get on throttle is 15 miles an hour. I would prefer to have the throttle totally separate and not associated with the level of pedal assist. I want to be able to hit the throttle and get the maximum throttle to get out of situations and just to be able to move out. Now, as you'll see on the ride test, the torque sensor mitigates that to quite an extent. So those are the three things. When you look at the rest of this bike, you know, I can live with those. But I wish that there was some way to do a firmware update at some point to be able to allow the user to change some of those things. Now, I do need to point out that you can call them and they will give you the password to go into the display to be able to change this bike from the class 2 that it comes to either a class 1, a class 3, or a setting they call off-road, which disables the fact that you've got to press down on the minus key to turn off pedal assist. In other words, as soon as you turn it on, pedal assist is on. So that's one thing, you know, kind of mitigated right away. But I sure wish that this throttle was not associated with the pedal assist. That said, I think I'm going to love this bike. It's so light and easy to get on and off. And when you look at my fishing gear, I carry it in a milk crate, and that's going to fit just fine on this rear rack. Rods will go here, stuff in here, and I'll be ready to go. I can't wait to get this out and check it out. Now my next video, I'm going to do the road test next, but I want to let you know that I'll be doing another video to see how this performs on the beach, because it does have 3-inch tires and most beach bikes have 4-inch. Given the power of this bike, I don't think it's going to be an issue going out there with 3-inch tires. Well, off to the road test. Let's get this out for a test ride, see how this torque sensor works, see how much I have to shift, or does the torque sensor provide the power I need when I need it. Right now I'm cruising in pedal assist level 2 at 12 miles an hour. I'm in gear number 5 and this feels very comfortable. Okay, now one drawback of this bike is that the throttle is limited to the amount of pedal assist you have selected. So right here I can only hit the throttle and get up to, I think, 15 miles an hour. And that's the case. If I bump it up one level to pedal assist 3, then I can get up to the full 20 miles an hour for this class 2 e-bike. Let's get going here. I'm going to bump it up to 3 and then we'll test the brakes. Okay, running at 18, 19, hit the brakes. That was very fast. One thing I like is that the display is bright enough to be readable with my polarized glasses. Uh-oh, we got a turtle here. Let me get him out of the road. Okay, little fella, let's get you back in the lake. There he goes. He's happy now. So what's my assessment after a 10-mile test ride? Well, I really love the way this bike handles. The torque sensor is fabulous when you compare it to a cadence sensor. I was in power assist level 2 and I never really ended up having to shift out of gear 6. As I needed more power going up the couple hills in my neighborhood, the bike just added that and I kept my cadence smooth and easy. And that was really nice. The other thing is that I never found myself ghost pedaling, where you'd go too fast and all of a sudden your feet are just going without any resistance. The torque sensor just kept the perfect amount of power applied to the bike and made for a very comfortable ride. The controls are all easy to access. I love the turn signals over here. I do wish that the actual turn signal itself was not right here under the seat, but back at the rear, because as soon as I put on a pair of saddlebags, that'll be a feature that I won't really use. I like the fact that I've got brights and dims here on the lights. The shifter is in a nice position. The hydraulic brakes are just a wonder. They are so quiet and smooth, it's unbelievable. And boy, they just stopped me on a dime. So my bottom line on this bike is I'm glad I took the time to customize it, buy it, and get it here. And I'm hoping with the 3-inch tires that it's got, that this will become my new beach bike. But that's for another video. Comments? Throw it down below. Thanks.